Category number 1. That's right. It's going to be very interesting. I'm going to put it right here in the center of the chart. Kind of center left because of the room. Yelling at each other. Having arguments where you are literally shouting, even at the top of your lungs, to where next door neighbors can hear you. This is legit arguing with neither partner backing down, okay? This is some intense yelling going on, okay? Oh boy, this is very tough because almost any relationship is going to encounter this situation because both of you are passionate and both of you are nervous, trying to synchronize with each other in the beginning stages. I'd say a good 10 years, maybe the first 5 years is more accurate. But the arguments to where yelling can last even throughout those first 10 years. So that's why I always preach. If you want a perfect soulmates relationship, you guys better get your acts together, mature very quickly together, synchronize completely with each other, believe in perfection, believe in soulmates, believe in true love. Otherwise, you're wasting years of your life, precious time, precious moments that you could have spent in another relationship or improving yourself to be ready to be in a serious lifelong relationship. A lot going on here. So yelling at each other. Look, there's no physical abuse going on here, okay, in this scenario. You guys are both being disrespectful, but you can recover from this. This is not ideal. So I'm going to say that this creates very bad memories. This is a terrible situation to be in, okay? It's beyond bad. Okay, we'll go over what bad means. You do not want to be yelling at each other, losing control. That's exactly what this represents. It's the ultimate disrespectful behavior. However, it is expected in a relationship. You got to have some thick skin if you are to survive. If you go into a relationship and say, oh, we had a big argument, that's why we broke up, that's why we got divorced, you're not going to make it in this life. We already were all born in a world of chaos. You have to be forgiving. This is a forgivable event or series of events. Even if you guys are yelling and not talking to each other for days or maybe even an entire week, it's very tough. But if you truly love each other, you will come back together. Okay? So that's the basis. It is terrible. But in this crazy life that we all live in, you must be forgiving. Because it's not all sunshine and roses out there. Both of you could be full of stress. However, if you wish to succeed, you cannot stay in this state of yelling for a long time. This is not a long-term thing. Otherwise, it will be the worst-case scenario, and you will have to break up. This is borderline breaking up here. That's what the terrible category is for, okay? So let's go ahead and move on to the second one. Man, it's so intense. I mean, almost every couple, I swear, will go through it. But the kissing and making up is, like I said, the best sex ever and the way to grow together. If you don't know how to forgive, you're gonna lose, because that means to continue to trust your partner regardless of what just happened, as long as it's not abuse, as I just stated. Number 2, lying to your partner or hiding something that they need to know, either about you or about something going on that will have possible consequences to the relationship, including lying to your face. This is bad. This is terrible. You do not want to be lying to your partner. Now, if it's a white lie, an innocent lie, that you're not ready to... A white lie means something very small, but you guys still got to be careful. You should be 100% open with your partner. Even in the beginning stages. Be 100% vulnerability if you trust your partner. But lying to their face, not telling the truth when your partner needs to know something, this can be forgivable depending on the lie. As long as it's not something of betrayal, meaning cheating, right? But everything else can be forgiven, like, hey, why did you lie to me? Why didn't you just tell the truth? Look, don't lie to me again. We talk to me next time. Don't hold that stuff back. I love you. You love me. I expect you to forgive me as much as I'll forgive you for these stupid things, right? So it is terrible. You shouldn't be lying to each other. It's beyond bad. because that's a sign that you don't trust each other, or one or both partners don't trust each other fully. And you're talking about a lifelong relationship here. You have to start as strong as when you guys are going to fall in love. You have to envision it. You have to imagine it. That you guys will succeed. And therefore, all the lying will not even happen. No chance. Hope you guys understand that. You have to be forgiving once again. Okay, which brings us to number 3. Now, cheating on your partner. It doesn't matter if it was a simple kiss on the lips or feeling up on someone else, which means actually being guilty of foreplay. Making out, in other words. Cheating is an absolutely unforgivable line that has been crossed. This is the absolute worst case scenario, and you know where it goes in the worst case. This means that the relationship is over. There is no possibility of return. No forgiveness. And, people pretend to get over something like that. No, it will forever be that big black hole in your relationship. And you guys can never move on after that point. Because the trust has been broken 100%. And sadly, people still try to make it work out, only to find again that maybe their partner cheats again, or maybe the other one wants to retaliate and cheat on their partner in retaliation. Those are the failed relationships that go to the psychologist and they say, hey, why don't you guys have an open relationship? Just date other people. That's absolute failure. And I'm surprised that, counselors and therapists actually recommend that garbage. Absolute nonsense. Cheating or open-ended relationships? No. Garbage. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next category here. Ooh, this one. Weight gain. Gaining weight all of a sudden. One or both partners suddenly starts to gain weight. 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 extra pounds at the most extreme perhaps. Whatever the reason is, it doesn't matter. The body can and must be brought back to normal. Now, how deep is your love? Right? Because if you really love your partner, you see it all the time. There's an overweight person or an obese person, hopefully not morbidly obese, hence the title morbid. That means, life-threatening, but it doesn't matter. Extra weight is always going to be life-threatening in the long run or mid-run. But in the short run, morbid is, no. Do not allow your partner to get that obese or even obese at all. Gaining some weight, that's why I made a ranking episode about exercise, the best, most effective exercise, and diet as well. And sadly, those aren't that popular these days because people are turning the other cheek, pretending like this isn't some, case that they need to work on. Everybody should work on their physical fitness and eating correctly. Of course, you can indulge in something once in a while, or take a break from exercise once in a while, especially along the holidays. But that holiday binging enjoyment should be enough motivation to stay fit almost year round, to make that effort. Even if it's just walking around the block or eating an occasional salad or drinking more water, whatever it is, get more sleep, stress less, all this can prevent a hell of a long-term accumulated weight gain. Now, the question is here, how bad is it? It is bad. Is it terrible? It could be. But I'm going to just go with normal weight gain. Look, it's bad, but you can always fix it. Go to the gym, hire a personal trainer, exercise more, eat correct. This is correctable. It's not okay. By any means, it's not okay. This is something you need to put. It's a heavy priority. You do not, one or both of you should not be gaining weight. There might be some excuses, medical excuse, or you guys going through a rough patch, a lot of stress, and suddenly you find yourself so many tens of pounds or 100 pounds overweight, whatever the story is. Everybody has a story in this case. The point is to nail it. So it's not terrible, because that's going to be discouraging. It's just a really bad, it's borderline terrible. And even if you gain 100 extra pounds or beyond, it's still bad. Now, because you still have a chance. Terrible is when you quit, when you fail to do something about it. That would be terrible. And morbidly obese would be the worst category. Understand? So it's a bad situation, but you could change yourself in a matter of months and even 1 year. And perhaps 2 years ideally to make a complete change, but it all depends on your level of progress. Burning fat and building muscle, getting more flexible, yada yada. Okay, next category here. Okay. What do we have here? Okay. One or both partners choosing to spend their precious free time with their own friends or family members, or even spending hours away from their partner window shopping. I mean, by the time they come home, they just want to go to sleep. This is a huge red flag. This is a terrible situation. I mean, why are they avoiding you, right? So, yeah, this is a terrible situation. It's borderline worst, but it can be corrected. It can be forgiven. It's something that needs to be fixed because the first question is why? Why are you avoiding me? Fix the problem. Now, if you have a disrespectful partner, I mean, all these situations need to be worked out. There's too many variables. It could be literally anything. But whoever's avoiding the other, or if you both are avoiding each other, say, I'm going to have a guy's time out, or hang out with the guys in my man cave, I mean, that's okay once in a while. If you have friends and family members, once in a while, I mean like maybe once a month or once every other month or once in half a year, ideally. But to each their own. It depends on how well you get along with your friends and family. But look, you guys have a lot to work on in life, your whole lives. So I go over this in my book, Friends and Family. It's a really intense section of the book. You don't want to spend too much time with your friends and family because you guys already have barely enough time to synchronize with each other and make that relationship work. So, like I said, if it's purposefully evading your partner, being evasive, that's a really bad situation. It's beyond bad. It's terrible. Something better be done soon. The attraction is falling apart. The relationship is falling apart. Huge red flag. Okay, number 6. Oh boy. Physical or sexual abuse. Obviously, everybody knows where this is going. This is another unforgivable act, similar to cheating, which means the relationship has officially failed. That's it. Once a hand has been laid on you, I don't care if it's a slap, if your partner slaps you in the face, a female to a male. That used to be acceptable in the black and white days. Not anymore. I don't think so. Not even back then it should have been allowed, but people accepted it, sadly. Abuse is never okay. There's absolutely no more sense of respect, honor, or love in such a situation. That's the end of the story. Abuse is not a terrible, it's the worst, and you need to exit that relationship. I don't care how good you think that relationship is. We're talking about your safety. We're talking about possible escalation. For somebody to be capable of especially hitting a woman that you claim to love, no. Once that line has been crossed, you are done. It's over. I don't care how many broken hearts there's going to be. And also for the guy. There's a lot of men out there being abused by their wives, by their girlfriends. Being slapped and hit and even stabbed or beaten in some cases. And it's only going to get worse. I just went over in article reviews, the final finale, about feminist extremists. Oh yeah, it goes both ways. The abuse, physical abuse. But just because you're a man doesn't mean you have to take it. And a woman especially shouldn't be taking it. I don't care how good the sex is, or the money, or the fame, or whatever interests you in a relationship. Because, no, whatever it is that you're happy with in the relationship, don't be too comfortable because that relationship's done. Now, let's go ahead and move on to number 7, manipulating behavior. This is really bad. forcing you to do things that are either dangerous or that go against what you seek in a relationship. We're talking about a controlling partner who only cares about their own interest and not yours. This is terrible. Let me make some room here. Since there's not too much room. This is actually, no partner should be trying to manipulate the other because they're selfish. A relationship must be selfless. Okay? So, once extreme selfishness in this form of manipulating behavior, I'm talking about completely like just playing games with you or taking advantage of you or whatever it is, stealing, whatever the case is, manipulation, which involves lying, by the way. You know, I want to put this in the worst category. I really do. Is it forgivable? That's the ultimate question. Can a person like that change? They could, but they're not ready for a relationship. So this is a relationship killer. Now, I'm going to put it in the worst category because this is unacceptable. However, it does depend on the degree of manipulation. I mean, if it's a little bit of manipulation, it's not that it's forgivable. It's that, let's say you're being accused of being manipulating. Maybe you got it from your mom or your dad, or you were heavily influenced peer pressure by your friends. If the partner who's being the manipulating one begs for forgiveness and promises to change their ways, however, that's not mostly the case. Everybody knows this. We're talking about narcissistic behavior. That's why I'm putting it in the worst category. I mean, it's all about themselves. And they use you to get what they want. You know, this is the gold digger category. Or for men, they just want sex. They don't care about cuddling or making you feel comforted, comfort. Just nothing. They couldn't even care less. So this is the type of guy who will have sex with you and roll over and go to sleep and not even say I love you or nothing. So it works both ways, is what I'm saying. Or who abuses your children by manipulating them, controlling and using them. I mean, it's just going to get worse with children involved. Absolutely worst case. Absolutely, because, you have to think about it. Is it really forgivable? And I honestly don't think so. All right. So, next one on the chopping block. Category number 8, disagreements. Arguments may occur, but they are not to the point of yelling or screaming. No name calling or insane erratic behavior. Just constant nagging over the most simplest things. It's not manipulation. It's just nagging, always whining and complaining. Or smallest, most insignificant lifestyle choices. Like, why do you do that to your room? Why do you put that over there? You should put it over here. Why are you wearing that shirt? Go change that shirt. I don't like that shirt. Change those pants. Button up your shirt correctly. I don't like you to unbutton those 2 buttons. It's not manipulation. This is controlling behavior. This is nagging, complaining about either you, your appearance, even how you are as a person. Now, this is a very careful category, okay? It's not terrible. This is just a really bad habit that needs to be solved. You have to learn that you don't control your partner. This is borderline manipulation. It could be terrible. But for the purpose of this chart, I'm going to just say disagreements. Those disagreements need to be solved. It depends how extreme it is, how many disagreements there are in nagging, because they're going to start nagging each other, right? Well, I disagree. You should do it my way, You should suggest things to your partner and discuss them. See, discussions, not arguments, not debates. Those are immature occurrences. So there's no name calling, no insane behavior. So this can be worked out. This is just bad behavior that you guys have to think. I'm going to say it's bad because this could happen on any level. I'm going to be a little forgiving. It's borderline terrible, depending on the severity of how much nagging is going on. How many disagreements? Is it constant? Because I just said, even the most insignificant thing. Your partner has to learn how to back off and respect your own personal space, right? And unfortunately, you expect this in every relationship, but it doesn't always happen. So just because myself, I'm not like that. I do know of plenty of people that are like that, but they've gotten over it. They learn how to mature and say, you know what, honey, I was wrong. I'll never be like that again. Okay, you're right. So this is not narcissistic manipulation. And it's not terrible unless the nagging is really bad to where you start to hate your partner. Then it is in the terrible category. That's why I say borderline terrible. If I could put a borderline in between terrible and bad, however, I got rid of that category to be more simplistic here. Trust me, it's bad, but it can be helped. It can be changed. It's part of growing together, but there are limits. There is a threshold, okay? So don't find out how bad things are going to get. All right, category number 9. Laziness. Living a completely sloppy life without even a sense of decent organization skills. I'm talking about hoarding or buying items that clutter your home to the point where there's barely any space to move around or enjoy anymore. This could happen in a home, an apartment. Just clutter everywhere. Now, this is forgivable because everybody's different. Some people like things to be a little disorganized or moderately disorganized. I know. It's all a matter of preference. It's subjective, right? But what we're talking about, always messy, all the time. Doesn't matter if you're a genius or not. It's called having honor for your home. You have to honor the place you live in. So this is just a bad habit, just like nagging or disagreements. This can be changed, okay? Just learn how to be more clean, more organized. It's going to benefit you, trust me. You won't have bed bugs. You won't have flying, mosquitoes or flies. Be more organized and clean. Cleanliness on your mind. I mean, just, you guys get the point. And also, it prevents possible accidents from tripping and falling over stuff. Or when you need to find something, you know where it is. So go buy some boxes. Go buy some, some drawers or something. It's just something to organize things in. Some cabinets, whatever, some furniture, right? Think about feng shui. How your room flows when you enter and how you feel when you're in it. Things like that. And if you want to add some decoration, like some cool LED lighting or something, get creative and honor the place where you sleep, the place where you live, even your own garage. Don't just stuff everything in the garage. Keep that thing clean, please. Buy some racks, from Home Depot or wherever you guys shop. And put them in, like, just not cardboard boxes, but decent boxes, and you guys get the idea, okay? Please live a clean life, okay? So let's go ahead and move on. Number 10, that's right, procrastination. So we went from laziness to procrastination. Very relatable here for if you're in that category. Being late paying bills, see, it can be dangerous. Saying something will get done, but instead choosing to kick the can down the road until you finally reach a dead end where you're finally forced to actually get something done. Procrastination can have really bad consequences. But some people procrastinate to a certain level. So it could be a terrible situation, but I'm going to put it in the bad tier. It's just something, it's a bad habit. One should not procrastinate when it comes to things. It's borderline terrible. Just like the nagging incident, it's really borderline terrible. It could have heavy consequences. But for the most part, in most situations, People could procrastinate on a lot of things. So it is forgivable. It just needs to change that type of behavior. It's not okay. It's not okay. Not wanting to improve your sex life by trying new things or working towards becoming your partner's fantasy, which means mastering the art of sex to the point where both partners are satisfied to the maximum level of perfection. This is a big one. Not wanting to improve your sex life. This is almost the worst case scenario. Not even wanting to. Let's just say absolute refusal. Well, I don't care if that's what you want. I'm never going to do it. Now, if that lasts for years and you're living unhappy, miserable, having to watch some pornography or borderline thinking about cheating on your partner, you see the major consequences that can happen here? Misery and suffering and betrayal. It is a big deal. So, yeah, this is the worst. The sexual incompatibility is another relationship instant killer. There's nothing to work on when somebody is not willing to do anything about it. There's nothing to work on. So, it's not just terrible. It's literally a death blow to the relationship. You need to change partners fast, really fast. I mean, not too fast, be responsible, but you need to end that relationship fast. If they say, no, I will never, I don't even care about your sexual satisfaction, and you hold sex as one of the main priorities in a relationship, which you naturally should, by the way. Anybody who says otherwise is lying to themselves and living a miserable life. Then no, it's instant. The relationship is dead. All right, number 12. Not reaching your financial goals in life, such as being able to buy expensive things for each other or for yourself. Never owning a home, living on welfare or going bankrupt, barely making ends meet, always struggling financially. You know, money is not everything in life. It's very powerful. It's a necessity. Yeah, I mean, it's not really a bad situation, though. Anything can happen. I'm going to put it in the okay category. What I mean by okay is sometimes it's out of your hands. It's how you deal with the situation that counts. So I'm putting it in the okay category because this can happen to anybody. You get laid off. You lose your job. Or something happens to the world where the economy, it's out of your hands. Maintain your calm, and two heads are better than one. If you both have to go to work, and this is another reason not to have kids. Don't bring kids into the picture if you can't afford to have kids. What I mean is provide a decent life for them, bare minimum. It's getting harder and harder these days. Until that changes, hopefully one day, the people seriously need to wake up, but that's another topic. So it's okay if something happens, or something's happening like, honey, I'm really trying. I'm trying to get that promotion. I didn't get the bonus. It's okay. Be very forgiving, because most couples here, they break up. They're like, you know what? This is not, finances is the worst. As long as you two are working together, there's nothing bad here. Now, it is bad if one partner wants to control all the finances, and because that's manipulating behavior. That's abuse. And says, you know what? No. I'm the man of the house. I control all the finances. Or she might do that. And say, no, you're too stupid to handle all that. Whoa. That's a huge red flag. Pretty much the worst case right there. The name calling at that level, and when it's something so important. You're talking about responsibilities that, making a life together. You have to be very forgiving over financial situations. It's a challenge. It's part of being together. Independent from your own families or any other help. So if you have to go on welfare for a moment, hey, you're not alone, but all is not lost. As long as you two have love to the strongest of your possibility, of your capabilities, you guys can pull through it. It's just a challenge, okay? Do never give up hope if you guys truly love each other. So number 13 category, being bored, feeling like nothing is exciting. Perhaps there's not much to do in your area where you live. Maybe feeling as if things are repetitive without much meaning or purpose. Maybe even feeling depressed or reminiscing of the past. So, this could happen to a lot of couples out there. Maybe you guys got burnt out. You ran out of ideas. This is perfectly normal, but feeling bored, it better be corrected. It's not a bad situation. It's an unfortunate one that shouldn't be happening. But this could happen to anybody, depending on where you live. It's another okay scenario. You guys just need to be more creative. Find interesting things to do with, together. It's almost a no-brainer, but you will be limited no matter where you live. Even if there's a lot of things to do around you. It's not that you get tired of doing them. It's not that you get bored. But what should never get boring is your sex life, is your love for each other. Your feelings for each other, comforting each other, having fun just being with each other. Cuddling or sitting next to each other, having deep conversations every day. Technology has kind of spoiled the world with immediate, satisfaction. You can just turn on the tube, whether it's a TV set or a laptop, an iPad, an iPhone, a smartphone, whatever it is. Just instant gratification, boom, entertainment. But that could get boring too. And then people are like, well, what else is there to do? We already took a vacation to Tahiti. We saw Japan. Maybe you traveled the world already. It doesn't matter. See, that's proof that what all boils down to is how exciting you both are without anything else. No activities, just you two. And if you say, oh, that gets boring, well then, that's your reason for your misery. You should never get tired of being with each other. You should be eager from morning to night to the next morning and night, forever and ever. And if you don't feel that, you're not in love yet. You guys need to work on that. Because for me, I don't need things to do. Just listening to my partner and talking with her and being with her and laughing together about whatever. Or interesting conversations. After 20-something years, we still have interesting conversations. That's what love is. You never get to... If I could be immortal, I would say yes. I'm one of the few that I would say yes, actually would not want to cut my head off, and I would like to be immortal. To end my own life if I was immortal. Highlander theme. Let's go ahead and move on here. Too much to talk about there. All right, category number 14. Getting down to the wire here. Okay. Feeling like you're the only one in love. That your partner doesn't love you as much as you love them. Oh, this is such a big one. You might feel doubtful of your relationship, feeling like you're lonely even though you're not alone. Yeah, it's not a good situation to be in. However, you can fix this situation. Bad times, for sure. You don't want to feel these bad feelings. But this is, you have to keep in mind, this is a feeling, just like feeling bored, right? But it's not good though, because your partner, they're already kind of telling you how much they love or don't love you. So this is a borderline terrible situation to be in. Because if you feel that you love your partner more than they love you, you better be sure about that. You don't want to assume things. First of all, talk about this with your partner. But if it's so severe to where you're starting to doubt the relationship and that, you feel distant and no matter what you say, expressing your feelings, then this could be a terrible situation easily. So let's go over it one more time. Feeling as if you're the only one in love. That your partner doesn't love you as much as you love them. Now, if you talk to them and say, no, honey, that's not true. Look, I've just been going through a lot of stress lately. Hey, look, how about we do this, okay? And they actually follow through with that, you're fine. But if you're feeling doubtful, like you're lonely even though you're not alone, then either there's something missing on your part or their part. So I'm going to toss this in the bad category. Borderline terrible. borderline. It depends on the severity. So, just like the nagging, right? So, something needs to change. Otherwise, you will be in a terrible scenario. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the last category, shall we? One or both partners begin to insult each other, calling each other names. Oh boy. Or putting each other down in public. Sarcasm and passive attitudes due to living in a mediocre, unhappy relationship. Feelings of resentment. This is a terrible situation. This is, once you feel feelings of resentment to your partner, it's pretty much over. This is borderline worst case scenario. But if you're humiliating each other in public, calling each other names and being sarcastic all the time and passive, that's basically being unappreciative, taking each other for granted, and having no respect for each other, no sense of honor, no sense of dignity. So, yeah, this is a relationship killer. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the worst case scenario. Now, notice that in the terrible case, we have arguments, right? These kids are just yelling at each other, but there's not necessarily name calling. There could be name calling. That's why it's borderline worst. It could be a relationship killer. If there's so many arguments, it depends on the severity of the argument. But when you're already in the name calling and it's constant, it's chronic, there's no sense of respect for each other anymore, especially in public, no sense of decency. I'm not talking about one or two scenarios. I'm talking about chronic. Then it's already... So you can see up there, we have just as many worst case scenarios in this presentation as much as we have bad scenarios. And a couple of okay scenarios with about 3 terrible borderline worst scenarios, right? And bad scenarios borderline terrible. But I didn't want to make this ranking episode confusing with 5 or 6 categories, including the borderlines. So just know that these could be changed either for the worse or for the better, depending on the severity, but I would say mainly for the worse.